Tonight, I introduce a guest. Masterful 27 gets shiny. Casual Coops talks 3 letters that aren't PvP. And Pogo Milo UK once again wins the flex game. Welcome to Incensed, a Pokemon Go podcast, episode 15. Guys, how you doing?
PvP. I just had to get it out of the way. Like
verbal diarrhea, mate. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's gone. It's out of your system.
Well done, Coops.
But Ian, do you want to announce a little something?
What I do tonight, we have a guest.
Ooh.
Ken from LURED Up, please say hello.
What's up, y'all? How are you?
Yes! We have
What's
an
going
accent
on?
in the house, baby.
It's like as freaking American as you could get too. Freaking Jersey.
Oh my god, dude!
I love it, Ken. It's amazing. Immediately, it feels like we're international, just like that.
You are. It's
brilliant,
official.
mate.
The street has gone 2 ways officially.
It's great. I mean, it's nice to be back in the same room. And I don't know about you, it feels like a long time since we were all doing LURED Up. What was that, March?
It does feel like a long time
Was
ago.
it? It was like last week, wasn't
March,
it?
April? Was it? It feels like ages.
And it only feels so recent because you've been having nightmares ever since about us, and yeah.
No, honestly, it's what I can say is that I'm a podcast advocate. I love the platform. I love spreading the gospel of podcasting, turning people on to new podcasts. And I've been fortunate enough to work with a ton of people, share content from tons of creators. But I would say the most positive feedback and audience, checking out a creator that I've had on the show has probably been higher for Incensed than any other creator that I've ever had on the show ever. People saying thank you so much for turning me onto the show. I love these guys. It's awesome. I feel like, I'm hanging out. And I was like, dude, that's the exact vibe they're going for. And it's really cool. And I mean, I was getting that feedback. I'm still getting that feedback consistently. People tag us on Twitter. And they're like, hey, thanks for turning us on. It's really cool. So I'm glad that I had you on the show, and I'm glad to be here. And yeah, I think both of our communities are really awesome. So yeah, I'm psyched.
Indeed, absolutely.
We certainly couldn't believe the response that we got on your YouTube channel. I mean, that video got some hits.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, we have a YouTube, but it's really just passive. It's not something that we ever really put any effort into, especially being on an audio platform. But once we go, we're going to start getting into video. With the success of that video, now we're going to start doing some more video stuff in the future, and we might actually move to like a full video format down the road. So it's a lot of fun, and y'all are pretty. So, I want to see.
Let's put a big smile on my face, that has, mate. Thank you.
Coops is the pretty boy.
Yeah, I'm really not. It's more Milo, but I'll take that, Ian. Thanks.
Thanks, Coops.
So, guys, it is time to grab a cold one. Ken, are you drinking tonight?
Water. It's 3 in the afternoon for me, so
It's liquid.
When Ian said tonight, I was like, isn't it like 12 o'clock?
Yeah. Some of the patrons have got a beer on.
Yeah, they do.
So yeah, time to grab a cold one and drop that incense. Let us know if you bag a shiny during the show. And don't forget, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Incensed Podcast. And of course, please use the hashtag Incensed Podcast when you do, so we can find you easier. So Ken's on the water. Guys, what are you drinking?
Coffee again.
Coffee 2 weeks in a row.
It's a theme.
Becoming a regularity. I've got a small Peroni and a whiskey on ice.
Nice.
You're
Coops?
so posh, aren't you, Mr. Ealing? Yeah,
Mr.
Ken,
Ealing, I like that.
Yeah, Mr. Ealing. And Ken, I'm with you, brother. Cheers, mate. Let's cheers to Adam as well. Adam, who can't be here right now. Which is it's okay. Adam, I did say this when we went on to LURED. We love you. We really do love you.
Yeah, man.
So
cheers.
to Adam.
Cheers.
And yeah, I'm on the water as well. Thanks for asking, Coops.
Oh, sorry.
Whose job was
Wait,
that?
was that me? We didn't discuss whose job that was. Sorry. Wait.
It's always the last one to talk.
Okay, wait, take 2.
Should we reset?
Got
right.
reset. And
Ian Waterfall, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm also on the water.
Oh
That's
my
3
God.
of us.
Doesn't sound staged whatsoever.
None at all.
I think I'm going to adopt on the water into my vernacular now. That's the way. That's it. It's in. I'm going to use that from
I
now on.
love it. Definitely. That was yours, Ken. That is definitely yours. In a few seconds, we are going to find out if we finally got our new jingle. It's time for getting to know you. Since tonight is kind of a sequel to us appearing on Ken's show Lured Up, I want to know from you guys what your favorite movie sequel is. Ken.
All right, this is an easy one for me. It's part of a trilogy, but it is the sequel. It's Two Towers, Lord of the Rings. I'm a big Lord of the Rings nerd.
Oh, yeah.
And it happens to be my favorite movie of all time. So Two Towers, hands down.
Sounds like me and Milo's OnlyFans profile, doesn't it? The Two Towers. I'm dying.
That's the name of the next project we film, Coops.
Sorry, Milo. Sorry, bro.
Two towers. You're more like two turrets if you're lucky.
Mark.
But amazing film, but it's a commitment, isn't it, to watch that Lord of the Rings trilogy?
Extended edition only. I'm all in every time.
That's like a day to watch all 3 films.
I'll take it. That's a day well spent.
Absolutely. Mark, what is yours?
I've already shared it with you guys before, because actually a sequel doesn't have to be the second one. It could be any film, a number of films after the original, but I've gone for a true second film in it, and mine was Terminator 2 Judgment Day. No, I love Terminator 2 because it's so, at the very beginning, everyone assumes that Arn is the bad guy. And that's what I love about it. It's absolutely brilliant. You go into the second one, you go, right, we know where we are. Yeah, okay, Arn is the bad dude here. Robert Patrick's going to be the good guy. It's all pretty cool. And then suddenly...
It flips it on its head, doesn't it? Yeah.
Absolute twist. And it's like, fuck. And obviously the CGI and all that back then was I felt, ahead of its time.
It was cutting edge, wasn't it? It really was.
Oh, it was bloody brilliant. But... yeah, I had to really think about it, but I've always loved Terminator 2. I love Terminator, but Terminator 2 was just fantastic. Judgment Day.
Great film.
Did anyone else have that?
It's a good film.
I was going to say that, but I'll think of something else.
Oh, Coops?
Yeah, I was actually... No, I wasn't really. No, all jokes aside, I was actually going to say Lord of the Rings as well. I'm glad Ken said that because I know my answer is really simple because Ken's already explained it, but the Lord of the Rings, especially me growing up, it just fucking bang, mate. It's like the sickest film. They are the sickest films ever. Like, and I was obsessed with Legolas as well. That's why I've got my long hair now. Is it my turn to ask Milo? Like, and what about you? Because I'm last. Is that Milo? And what about you?
Oh, thanks for asking. Yeah, I would have said Terminator 2, but I'm not going to be boring and follow and duplicate. Will be a little bit different with this one. I'm going to say Too Fast, Too Furious.
That's slight dig then to me. Like, I don't want to be fucking boring and copy someone else.
Oh, I didn't actually actualize that we're insulting you. Sorry, mate. I didn't commit.
Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah, I don't know. Just be a little bit different. I like that one after the first Fast and Furious. It was like
I'm surprised you didn't say the Grand Tour, the sequel to Top Gear.
That's not a movie.
That's true. Okay, I take that
back. If you said film work or TV work, then fuck yes.
Ian, you should know now from all of our titles so far, we're keeping it with the OnlyFans theme. That's why Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah. That's a sequel to the Two Towers.
Fast and Furious.
Yeah, the Two Towers, Too Fast, Too Furious, and then the Terminator.
Oh, it's a subtitle.
Ian, what about yours?
Well, again, I alluded to this actually when Milo was talking about Alan Rickman, but when Mark, was talking about Alan Rickman, my favorite sequel, and I did have to think about this because I really wanted to sort of talk James Bond, but there's only really been one true sequel in James Bond, and to be fair, Quantum of Solace is not a good sequel.
No.
So my favorite sequel has to be The Empire Strikes Back.
It was a good one. We know you like your Star Wars as well, so that kind of makes sense.
You can't beat Star Wars, can you really?
Is that getting annoying?
It sounds like a wasp.
Oh, does it?
What are you doing?
I was trying to be a lightsaber.
Now, the audience can't actually see this. Coops is just swinging his hands wildly on the screen for us.
And again, that is a description of an OnlyFans.
It is. You still need to edit that one, I believe, Miley. You just did put it on the screen.
I'm struggling right now. It's tricky.
What's the title? How big's your saber? Okay, that's enough.
Okay, so moving swiftly on, we do have a second question. But I'm not actually going to ask this one. Sue, unmute yourself, because I believe you had a question you wanted to ask us.
The question that I had asked in the Discord, because this is a podcast and we're all attracted to podcasts, it's actually a two-part question. What attracts you to a specific podcast? So what would make you tune into one as opposed to another? And what's your favorite podcast, not Pokemon Go related? And I didn't know Ken was going to be on. So I didn't say that to steer away from Lured Up.
I know you didn't when you asked it, which is why I jumped straight on it. Yeah, so We'll throw it straight over to Ken, I think.
And you're not allowed to say incensed.
So, I'm a podcast snob. So there's a couple things that I definitely look for in podcasts. And if a podcast doesn't have good audio fidelity, like if it sounds like shit, I'll try to muscle through it. But typically, that'll remove it from my consideration if it has like shitty sound quality. What it would attract me to a podcast is it being organic and natural and honest. I don't want to be able to have some kind of wall in between, my ears and the hosts. I want to feel like I'm in the room, and that if I was there, the conversation would happen the same way as if I wasn't. And I think that transparency is what makes the podcast format so great, is because we feel like we're just chilling out. We feel like we're just all hanging out in a room. That's what I go for. So when I, especially if I'm listening to a group podcast that has, 4 or 5 hosts, something like that, I just want it to feel natural. I want it to feel like it's just a bunch of friends hanging out, having conversations. So that's definitely the number one thing I look for. Non-Pogo podcast I listen to, I would probably, that's a tough one. I've been really hooked on Wild Ride with Steve-O. That's a really good one I've been listening to a lot right now. And he has some really good guests. He had Casey Neistat on. He had Post Malone on recently. So that's a lot of fun to listen to that, because it's completely outside of the space. I listen to a lot of like gaming related podcasts too. I'm big into Kind of Funny and Giant Bomb. But I would say Steve-O's Wild Ride is probably my number one non-Pigo show right now.
Great stuff. Coops, how about you, mate? What's your favorite and what attracts you to a podcast?
So, okay, one more time. Let's go one more time. Sorry, Ian. That really
Ready?
made me laugh. Sorry.
We've got some outtakes tonight.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's not being cut out. Mine won't be cut out. That's
Sorry.
good.
Sorry.
So Coops, how about you?
Fuck's sake.
Okay, one more time. That's it. I'm done. I'm an adult. Okay, go. Ask me one more time. Sorry.
So Coops, how about you, mate?
So I'm just going to be...
You want me to come to Croydon and slap you?
What is happening right now? Okay. Sorry. I've got the giggle. Sorry. All right.
Take 27.
Thanks, Ken. So Coops, how about you, mate?
I'm going to just say it. I don't actually like podcasts. Growing up and kind of like throughout my whole life, I've actually never listened to podcasts, and I don't listen to podcasts. Like, my dad knows this, because my dad, I've got to shout out Adventure Rider Radio. He is a big fan. It's like a sort of motorcycle podcast, and he absolutely loves them. And he always, over the last year, he's been a big fan of them, and he would go on about them. And he's like, son, please listen to Adventure Rider Radio. They're great. You're going to love them. And I was like, Dad, I don't like podcasts. I'm not into podcasts. And then my first experience as a human of any type of podcast was, all jokes aside, I'm not just saying this to Bumlick, was actually when Ken and Lured Up, they reached out to me and they were like, Coops, do you want to come on the podcast? And that was my sort of first ever experience of one. And when I went on, I absolutely loved it. And I was like, wow, like, podcasts are actually fun. And because I love music, like, I love just listening to music when I'm traveling. Like, I've got to find someone really interesting and someone that I really love to spend an hour and a half listening to. That was my experience of being on a podcast. And I listened to a few episodes of Lured Up, and then I'd also listened to a few other Pokemon Go podcasts as well. And then kind of a few months flew by, and then you gents were like, do you want to start up a podcast? And I said to my dad, Dad, you're never going to guess what? And he's like, what? He went, I'm starting up my own podcast. And he went, fuck off. He went, no. So on my life to this day, to answer Sue's question about a non-Pokemon Go podcast, I do not listen to podcasts, like, outside of Pokemon Go. I just don't listen to them.
No, fair enough, because we could all understand that, like, the podcast is not a medium that everybody's going to either enjoy or get into. It is a little bit more niche, so that's fully understandable.
Which I know people are going to find weird. They're like, hold on, you do a podcast with your 3 mates. How are you not? But it's weird, but it just, I haven't found someone that
And just because you make one doesn't necessarily mean you need to listen to one.
Yeah,
that's true. You don't have to like that. If you can still make one's completely different to listening to them. I like that. I think that's actually quite, I didn't expect that, mate.
Really?
That was a real curveball.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
I was like,
yeah.
Yeah, but I like that, though. I like that. There's nothing wrong with that.
As said, make sure you listen to Incensed podcast and Lured Up. And,
don't follow Coops' advice.
No, Sue did say non-Pokemon related in my defense.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. So that's a bombshell, Coops. That is definitely a bombshell. Mark, how about you?
I've got to follow that, have I? really. Cheers, Ian. Thanks for that.
We'll switch it around and Coops goes last.
Yeah, come on, someone's got to lift the fucking vibe here. Come on.
No, I mean, for me, you know, what attracts me to a podcast, I think there's got to be a feel that I'm going to get something out of it, which I'm only going to hear by listening to it. And that might sound like a really stupid thing to say. It's down to who's on it, and it's what am I going to get from it when I listen to it. So I have loads of varied interests, and I'm normally attracted to podcasts that people that I've seen on TV or have had previous sort of experiences listening to. I want to mention a couple, though, because they are very different, but I think that really sort of encapsulates what I like listening to. There's one that I've really loved by David Walliams, and David Walliams is fantastic. He's like a phenomenal writer. He's just a genius. I think he does it with Six Music, or he does it with one of the other BBC radio stations called Marvelous Music. They're only like 7-8 minute long episodes, but he like picks something like Beethoven.
Right up my street.
Yeah, and Franz listed things like ballet and piano and he makes it just so catchy. You listen to it, you go, oh my God, I've learned so much of that. And it's like 7-8 minutes when you're doing the dishes at home. And I love that. But my favourite one, I love that Peter Crouch podcast. Peter Crouch is in it. He's an ex-professional footballer, well known for being lanky. He does it with a couple of guys from Radio 5 at like football presenters and that. But they talk a bit of shit like we do, have a bit of a laugh. But then they pick a topic each week. So they talk about like football, different elements of it. And like, you know, at work, if you've got like WhatsApp, you know, and they would talk about like, how do people communicate in the football team? I've got all these images, like there's loads of groups, certain people in certain groups. Crouch is there talking about, yeah, we give the coach some shit. He goes, so is he in the players group? No, he's not in the players group. But we have one with the manager. Do you talk about that in the one with the manager? He goes, no, we don't talk about that in that one. We talk about that with the other ones. So you just get this insight to the world of professional sport, which you'd never know about it. It feels like you almost like you're listening in through the wall at it, and it's fucking brilliant. I've probably been to podcasts for probably about the last maybe 2 years. I just love them.
Cracking stuff, mate.
That's Milo's line. You can't use that line.
Yeah. What are you doing, man? I've got to copyright that now.
Right, go on then. Over to you then.
Go on then, Milo.
Genuinely, only started listening sort of March 2020. I don't know why. For me, I'll give a podcast a go, any podcast a go, but I've really got to try. It's sort of an X factor. I've got to sort of gel with the hosts and how they sound. And there are certain voices for me that I just can't listen to. So if I hear a voice, I'm like, oh my, either the pitch is like an annoying tone or the conversation, I'm not really vibing it. I won't give up.
Imagine how people feel listening to you, bruv.
Hey, we've got a lot of people, you know, they love me.
Actually, I was going to ask if it was like Coops singing about poffins.
I'd say that autotune was not flattering. Yeah, I don't know. I'll give any podcast a go, really. But two I've really enjoyed that are not Pokemon Go related. Crime Junkie, I'm really big on, which go through like cold cases and things like that, and listening to the two hosts talk through cases from between 2 to 40 plus years ago. It's really, really interesting hearing about the process of criminology and things like that. But I also listen to F1 Beyond the Grid, which they do interviews with ex-team principals, ex-drivers of F1 and stuff, which is really, really interesting. So that's me. And yeah, back to you, Ian.
Okay, thank you, Milo.
Can I just say, I think that was like the most serious 5 minutes that we've ever had on any episode. Like, I'm like falling asleep here. Like, wow, like that was.
We're gonna dial it back up.
Yeah,
to humor.
yeah,
Come on.
That was a podcast segment right there.
Yeah.
Now prepare for the long pauses, which the audience won't hear.
Exactly. So this is the real stuff. So for me, a podcast literally has to be funny. If I'm not laughing, then I don't want to be listening to it. I need something that's going to entertain me. I need something that's going to make me laugh. I think Ken said it. You need to feel like you're actually in the room, sat with these people, just having a laugh. That way, an hour can pass and it will feel like 5 minutes. There's just something personal about a podcast. I have 2 non-Pokemon Go podcasts that I currently listen to. First one for the UK audience, probably going to be a little bit Marmite for some of you. I listen to the Chris Moyles on Radio X show podcast. A lot of people like Chris Moyles. A lot of people hate him. He's a DJ that you've got to have a taste for, but there isn't a single minute where I don't find him hilarious. He was really, really cool. The second one, I think a lot of podcast listeners will know this podcast, Fake Doctors, Real Friends, which is a rewatch podcast. with Zach Braff and Donald Faison, talking about their time on the TV show Scrubs, which I
love Scrubs. I didn't know about that podcast, so that's amazing. What's it called?
Fake Doctors, Real Friends.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Ken's showing you now, Mark.
He's got it in his list, which is glitching because he's got a green screen on.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
They're currently up to, I think, the 4th or the 5th season, and every episode they review an episode of the show. So great format, great idea. And this is what made me realize that they do a show about an episode. So they make a podcast episode each week about a 22-minute TV show, and some of their episodes are up to like an hour and a half, 2 hours long. They don't, and that's why I personally feel with a podcast, you don't need to be limited by time, because if you're engaging with each other and you're engaging with the audience, that vibe is going to pick up. And I literally, I can listen to them. I can binge listen to them.
What do you think about that, Marky boy?
I was going to say, are they in the live audience when they do it?
They've done one show with a live audience.
Oh, wow. I love Dr. Cox in Scrubs. He's hilarious.
He is, yeah.
Oh, he's just the best line ever. My brilliance is a burden to me. The guy is an absolute dream. He's fucking hilarious.
And because of that, I have actually bought all of the Scrubs TV shows off iTunes, and I'm currently rewatching them all. It's classic
brilliant.
TV.
Oh.
And I see Ken nodding. Is that a podcast that you have a lot of time for?
I do. I love Scrubs. I've watched through the series multiple times, and I love Donald Faison to death. I think he's.
And I think those two guys are from Jersey as well, aren't they?
Are they?
I think they are. I think they're both from Jersey.
But that podcast is awesome, and that is really that podcast really sums up the feeling of just a bunch of buddies hanging out, because they let it all hang out. They bust each other's chops throughout the entire show, and what I like about it is they're finding out stuff that happened 20 years ago when they filmed the show. And they're like, wait, that happened? And it's like that. It's so organic. It's so like natural. I freaking love it. They're awesome together.
Hopefully that's answered your question, Sue. So moving on nicely into, wait for it, another jingle, which should have arrived. It's time for the Flex Game. So the Flex Game, for those of you that don't know, we're going to go through shinies and badges on our games and see who can come close to Milo. Let's face it.
That's what Coops does on OnlyFans.
Well, I'm hoping Ken tonight, not on the OnlyFans. I mean, winning the game.
Oh, I'm glad you said close to and not over, Milo.
I am short.
Hey, I'm just going off whatever line you say.
Go into your Pokemon and select your shiny tab. And then I want to know how many shiny Galarian ponies you got last week.
Oh, zero. Actually, I think I did 2 raids, actually. So, yeah, 2 checks and no shiny.
No, goose egg. Goose egg on the shiny ponies.
Mark?
0.
Cool. And I did loads of AR.
That little cricket sound there, that was Milo, Mark saying nothing.
So, Ian, because we know that Milo's going to win, you might as well say how many you got, and then he can announce.
And we're going to talk about this later, Coops, with you, but I got 0.
And here he goes. Here he goes.
I got 1.
Hey, well done. Well done.
Is that all?
But I didn't really do very many.
Mate.
I think I did like maybe 25 raids for it.
That just makes it worse.
I had about 30. No, I had about 42, 43 encounters.
About 5 quests.
Well, I love you.
You
so
don't want to know
much.
how many encounters I had, Mark, and I got 0.
Oh wow! So was it over 40?
It was a lot over 40.
Shit.
Go on then.
Wow,
Tell us.
Oh, and you can say on the podcast.
I had 134 encounters.
What the fuck?
And 0 shinies, and I wasted nearly 2 gig of data uploading fucking AR mapping tasks to Niantic.
Hopefully of your feet.
I actually did it properly. I thought, you know what? If I'm going to get a shine out, I'm going to do it properly.
No.
And
Ian, now they've got what they want off you. Your phone company's got 2 gig. They've got what they want, and you've got nothing.
I think Niantic are renaming it AR scamming.
Yeah. Ken, did you grind for it, bruv?
Not particularly. I mean, I'm of the mindset of when I'm out playing, I'm just doing what's in front of me. I typically don't have targeted gameplay styles. So I'll go after whatever I have the opportunity to go after. It's not like I was hunting down the tasks or anything like that. Not particular, but I was probably in the realm of, 30, 40, 50 encounters, something like that.
That's crazy though, isn't it? Rough maths. What, 150, 180, 200, 230, 1. in like over 200, nearly 250 encounters between the 5
RNG, baby. RNG.
So go into your badges. We've got a couple more rounds of this game left, and find your pilot badge. Literally, this is because we have an international guest, so we're looking for the pilot badge because that is for long distance trades.
So I've been slacking big time with trades. I really did not do a lot of trading up until recently. So I've really just been super passive when it comes to this. So I'm just about to hit my gold medal. So I'm just about to hit the million. So I'm way behind.
That platinum badge is crazy, isn't it? It's
10
a long
million.
way off.
10 million. So that's big time. But you know, it's not too difficult now with all the remote stuff going on, and you know, with friendship and gifts and all that. But yeah, that's a trog for sure.
Because you've got the remote raids and the 7-kilometer eggs. Like, we're actually decent 2 weeks ago.
I'm on the single incubator grind though, so fuck that.
It still works.
You're part of the team. Coops and I are on that, and Mark.
Yeah, we all are, mate. Free to play for life.
Oh, I'm not free to play, but I ain't buying incubators.
Who's got the badge next? Coops, are you ready?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I'll go. So I'm actually quite shocked. I mean, I don't know if this is good or not. I know Milo will come in and just take my crown right from me. I'm on 14.7 million, which is quite a lot, right?
Wow,
yeah.
that is a lot.
Damn.
That is a lot.
So that was, I'm really shocked about. I don't even trade. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, how? So
you might actually win one of these, Coops.
Yeah, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I think it's just because I've traveled like a lot while playing this game. So when I do trade, it's never like it's always like quite a big thing. Yes, that's me. So am I winning at the moment? Mark, what's yours?
Well, you're going to win whatever because that's proper true mileage, mate.
Thanks, mate.
You've not relied on remote raiding and all that to get the distance.
You've been doing it legit. Yeah.
Legit, mate. Rounded slightly down, 1.9 million. So,
shit, I am
nowhere
like,
near you, mate.
Wow.
You are miles in front.
And what about you?
I'm on 2.1 million.
Fucking hell. Oh my God. He's going to come in, nobody. 28 million. Watch this.
140,000.
Watch this. Watch this.
I've only got about 7.3 million.
So, Coops, you've doubled Milo's score.
Are you actually being serious?
I'm deadly serious.
So hold on, I've genuinely won, and I'm not joking. I don't even think I'm taking the piss. I've genuinely just won around there. That's
the lowest wins, wasn't it?
I see you.
Ken wins.
I love that you were completely unaware of it as well.
Yeah, no idea.
Yeah.
No
jokes.
idea. No idea.
So the final round, please find your cameraman medal.
Look for the sheep medal.
Oh yeah, so mine is shit. I'm on 209. That's right at the bottom. I know.
Okay, go on, Ken.
603.
Whoa.
Good show.
Nice work.
Milo?
580.
Solid performance. Mark?
I'm on 593.
Jesus.
Hey.
And I finally won a round this week.
You've got a dead battery.
I have got
Hi, Ian.
622.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Well, mine, I'll be honest, the reason I've got so many is that GoFest in Chicago, after it finished, then you could just literally, every time it was available for about 2 hours, I think, after the
Was it?
the event.
So we knock off 200 from yours,
Yeah.
And
Ian's left the room.
he's taking his victory and he's never coming back. That's what he's done.
You wish.
Savor the moment, Ian. Savor the moment.
Savor the moment. It is time to grill the guest. Okay, so who wants to grill Ken first?
Right, Ken, if you were out for a night on the town,
Oh, God.
who would be your Pokemon wingman or wingwoman and why?
It would be Jules from Coops videos because I have a big crush on her.
I'm going to tell her that.
I love her so much. Yo, every time she's on the thumbnail, I'm like,
I'm gonna tell, she doesn't actually listen, but I'm gonna tell her that she's gonna love that, man.
Hands down, 100%. Jules, final answer.
Final answer. Press it in. And what about if you had to choose like an actual Pokemon though, like an actual character?
An actual character? I don't know. Probably, it would probably be like Slowbro or something like that. Just because I feel like he'd have some fun stuff in his pockets.
That makes sense. All right. we're going to go from laughing to quite serious. I want you to be honest, because obviously you do work closely with Niantic. Do Niantic Labs, do they know about Incensed, the Pokemon Go podcast?
Oh God,
I don't know, but I mean, I in real time, I could text them right now. You want me to
do it?
Yeah, do it.
I'll do it.
No, do it and just write, thanks for the follow, but put it from Incensed podcast. Because Mark told us they follow us on Twitter.
They do. They follow
So
us.
Mark, you've got your question to put on the Twitter. Do you think Niantic actually know about us?
oh,
it's like the suspect list. It's like you got to keep an eye on them.
We're not that bad. We've mellowed, I think, Ken. I think we've mellowed.
Yeah, we've mellowed. Get them to check out for episode 8 onwards.
Yeah, we've definitely number one. Milo, what about your question? Have you got one?
I've got one. Ken, who is your favorite host of the four of us?
Oh man, that's brutal. Jules. No, it's I'm gonna go Ian because I feel like he gets the most shit. That just cracks me up. So it's like, I don't think it would be the same without that level of shit receiving.
Do you see Ian, that, Milo? All the fucking oldies sticking up for each other.
You know what, Ken? I'm glad you're here. Yes.
Yep. Geriatric ward. Hell
it's
yeah.
It's a pity vote.
See, you and I actually admit we're old. Mark is actually our age.
Ken, if you'd said Milo, who'd have put it on his little biog or something on his Twitter account? Like Ken
Had it ready to go.
I'm 41, so there you go. Admitted
So
on the
he's
podcast.
in our age group. He's not far off.
Nice.
So we outnumber the younger ones today.
Ian, have I got?
Okay.
Do I have to ask you for your question? Wait, or do I have to keep asking you?
Ian,
Just throw
what
it
do you
in.
want to ask?
Yeah.
Keeping it to podcasts. When did you really get into the idea of becoming a creator and creating a podcast in general, not necessarily about Pokemon Go, your first podcast, and because obviously you write, host, produce, and edit a lot.
Yeah. So about a year prior to Pokemon Go coming out, I started a different podcast. I run Pokemon Professor Network. It's a Pokemon-based podcast network. So we have 3 shows. The one that was the original show was called Gotta Watch 'Em All. That's based around the anime and kind of a general Pokemon news type of thing. So we would cover the TCG, the VGC, products, independent, artists, and also the anime. We would do a watch along of the anime and do commentary, kind of like a Mystery Science Theater type thing. That was about a year before Pigo came out. So I was into podcasts probably 6 or 7 years even prior to that. I started listening to like the Nerdist podcast, very, very early on. I'm formerly a touring musician. So, I would tour the country. I played metal, all that good stuff. It's really fucking loud and obnoxious. And I needed a way, being a family person, of how I could still have some kind of creative outlet with working a job 5-6 days a week and also not, making a complete racket at home. And podcast was that perfect answer, that perfect solution, being able to have a creative outlet and something that I could manage from the house. I wouldn't have to leave. I wouldn't have to, separate myself from the family or from the home. That was the real reason that I decided to do it. Even though I was a fan of podcasts for years and years and years, I love art in all its forms, So, I love to dance. I love to paint. I love to draw. Expression in any way is very important to me. But podcasting specifically, because I could do it from home and not really disturb the peace, was the real reason that I decided to go with this as a format to really pursue.
Awesome stuff. And my second question wasn't going to be this question, but you touched on something there. I am a musician. I play the guitar really badly. So what is your instrument and how long have you been playing?
So I play guitar as well. I'm 40. I'm going to be 44. And I started playing guitar when I was 5.
Oh, wow.
I don't play as much anymore just because of life. It's something that all of my friends and colleagues and all that stuff poke me every time they see me. They're like, are you playing? Are you playing? Pick it back up. I've played a long time and it's something that's like on my immediate bucket list that, I need to get my ass back in gear and get the guitar back in my hands.
One word, Gibson or Fender?
Oh, Gibson.
Absolutely. Correct
Yeah,
answer.
I'm a Les Paul guy.
Gibson Les Paul. Is that the one on Dire Straits' album cover? The Gibson Les Paul.
Yeah, it's the one that Slash
Slash.
and yeah.
Ken, you said you're a family man, mate. Do any of your close family, close relatives play Pokemon Go? Or do they all look at you like a bit of a freak, like my family do?
I'm recently divorced, right?
Oh.
So my ex-wife was formerly a co-host on Lured Up.
Oh,
so
for real.
Yeah. So I don't know. We're up to episode 180. She was probably on the first 100 episodes.
Oh,
So
wow.
she was a hardcore trainer as well. She doesn't play anymore, but yeah, but she's been to the Go Fest. She drove up to, the Canadian Safari Zone. Like, so she played hardcore, but she doesn't really play much anymore. And I have a 12-year-old son who, when the game first came, when it first came out, he loved it. He was all about it. I would take him all around, we'd travel to play, and he loved it. And then the friends list was launched. He had a kid account. So in the beginning, you couldn't have friends with a kid account because he had an account through TPC, through the trainer club, because he plays competitive TCG.
Oh, right.
When they created the friends list and the kid accounts couldn't have the friends list, he literally was so turned off. He said, fuck this. He dropped the game.
Oh,
man.
man.
Completely dropped the game and never came back. I'll get him to do a raid with me here and there. He picked up Jurassic World Alive, which is another AR location-based game.
Yeah.
I can imagine you pinning him up against the wall going, you will watch the Trainer Club tonight. You will watch the Trainer Club.
He's just like, no, every time he's in the car, he's like, Dad, another fucking Pogo podcast? Come on. Yeah, but no one else in my family plays, though. I probably play enough for all of them. My screen time is typically like 21 hours a day, so it's bad.
Nice.
That is bad. That is bad.
High or lower, Milo?
Mine's actually not that bad. Well, not that bad. 19 hours. But...
I fall asleep with like the Pokeball Plus in my hand every night, pretty much.
Yeah, if I put my gotcha on and leave it for like an hour before
you fucking cheater.
Damn, man.
Exactly. Thank you.
Creative use of...
No wonder his stats are so high.
Before we move on, I know I bum licked you a bit tonight, so I might as well fuck it. I might as well do it a bit more. I know when people say this, they kind of mean it like you're ugly, and I'm not saying this because you're ugly, but you do have a great voice for radio, for radio and podcasting. I remember the first time I ever came across you, I was like, God, it's just perfect. I want to listen back to me. I sound so bloody annoying and jarring. When with you, I'm like, it's just so bang on the money.
So I have a history of public speaking. I was a corporate trainer for the GameStop Corporation. So I used to do keynote speaking at big meetings and stuff.
Really?
So I was on stage speaking a lot. So, I grew up listening to Howard Stern. So I was always into spoken word and things like that. And so I had a lot of experience in front of a microphone doing public speaking engagements and things like that. Believe it or not, it is a trained instrument. So you can develop it and train it over time.
I've got one more, but Ken, you probably won't be able to answer it properly because Niantic are always listening now. Might be listening. There's always a bit of a joke when anyone visits Buckingham Palace in this country, they always take something from it. It's a bit of a joke. Have you ever been to Niantic HQ?
So I haven't been there, and I'm bummed because they do an annual creator summit in San Francisco every year, and the last year it was canceled, so I never went out. So I haven't been there, but if I go there, I'm fucking leaving with something for sure.
Yeah, right.
The Pokemon podcast or Pokemon Go podcast space is fairly small at the moment. What are your thoughts to new podcasts coming in and kind of being in that space with you?
I love it. There's plenty of room for everybody. I mean, it's, I'm from the mindset of, when the tide rises, all the boats get lifted. It's like, I want more people in the party. I want more people to have a creative outlet. I want more people to support and reinforce this format. So I'm always one, if I hear anyone saying I really think I'm thinking about creating a podcast, it's like, I'll do everything in my power to assist them and get them going with it. I think that there's not enough podcasts. I think there's plenty of room, and there's so much to do in this game that there's plenty to talk about. And, obviously there's a couple shows that are kind of have very large audiences, and they all have very different feels and vibes. And there could even be crossover between the audiences, but the shows themselves are significantly different. And I think with, if I can give any advice, It's you can talk about Pokemon Go till you're blue in the face, but there's got to be something about it that is unique, of what your style is. So yeah, I think that there's plenty to talk about. So I encourage anyone, if they're considering or even thinking about doing a podcast, just fucking do it. It's easy as shit. Just record and hit publish. Get that shit out there.
And send it to Milo to Ed.
Everyone's getting the shinies tonight.
Oh my goodness.
We got a shiny. Yes, Captain Bunzo.
Sue's had one already, and Bunzo's had
shiny,
one.
Nice.
So
Wow.
we've got one.
And Ken, just quickly, because you asked this to everyone, mate, what's your favourite Pokemon? Quickly.
Magikarp.
Done. I'm glad we got that in there. We've got a bit of lure.
Good work, Coops.
Oh,
So, Ian, I hope you don't mind, mate, if I just want to just quickly say this, because I know that you were mentioning it earlier, and obviously you had really bad luck with
I had
Galarian
awful
Pony.
luck. Yeah.
And actually,
yeah.
when this is released, I think less than 48 hours later, we are going to get, let's say, the sexiest shiny in Pokemon Go. We're going to get that Galarian Zigzagoon. You know me, I'm always the one to just sort of barge in and say how I feel. But like, what does everybody think of RNG, the random number generator? How does everybody feel like this game works as a casino? Literally, like what's everybody's thoughts? I know Milo's raiding a lot, he's got a hundo. Like, what's everybody's actual thoughts on RNG? And then I'll wrap it up at the end and say how I feel.
Who wants to jump in first and do this?
I feel like Ian has to, because he's the one that's most frustrated.
The last time I went to Vegas, I lost a lot of money.
We're talking about Pokemon Go, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Playing Pokemon Go.
Trust me. I'm going somewhere. I'm setting a scene. So yeah, the last time I went to Vegas, I lost a lot of money. And over the last week, with the AR mapping tasks that Niantic put out, with a chance of getting a shiny Galarian pony, we touched on this earlier. I did over 130, and not a single shiny. And not even a hundo.
Not even a hundo.
Not even a hundo. I think I got a 98.
Even worse now.
But I didn't get it a hundo. The shiny look is all about a numbers game. It really is. But when you're doing like 30 or 40 of these tasks a day and you don't get a shiny, you do feel a little bit deflated, shall we say.
And then you go on Twitter and see someone caption, first check.
Shiny,
yeah. Exactly. Or one of your patrons that go, oh yeah, I got this on my, was it the 5th or 6th check? I'm like, damn.
It's interesting you're talking about the Galarian Ponyta, because
you did get one,
I got
you?
a shiny and I also got a hundo, which makes me feel like a complete cretin. Sorry, mate.
But then again, you just play all day, every day.
I do, but the thing is,
I've only gone around about 5 cities in that
I
time.
got the hundo and the shiny condensed into my 30, 35 or so, and I didn't do this. I did the catch 15 fairy type a couple of times, like maybe 5 times, but mostly did the raid.
Were yours from raids though, or were yours from
my
AR
hundo
mapping tasks?
and my shiny were both from raids?
See, I only did about 5 or 6 raids, but most of my
so I didn't do
were...
any AR mapping tasks at all, because I was mostly hunting Gibbel back for that event, but that's by the by. It's interesting you talk about the research task, because I feel that more people get triggered about RNG when the shiny is locked behind a research task wall, because there's extra work to do on top of it. It's not like just going to a nest or grinding an event spawn. Like we saw it with Feebas Day, that shiny in the research and stuff. Research tasks and RNG are quite a tricky subject, because is it a boosted? I mean, it clearly wasn't a boosted shiny. Well, it may be a boosted shiny for you.
It was supposedly boosted. I mean, it was what 1 in 65.
They're saying 1 in 75
like
or so, I think.
1 in 75.
But
so
you were nearly double that.
But it's 1 in 75 for each check you do. It's not.
It doesn't stack up or anything like that. But
no,
it's still kind of mad that you did 135, 140 checks or so and not get it.
But do you want to know what triggers me more than actually not getting one?
Do we dare ask?
Come on in.
I'm going to be honest. For the first maybe 100, I did the AR mapping tasks correctly. I actually spent time scanning each and every gym.
Right, kick him off, boot him off, Milo, boot him off, boot him off.
And then, for the last sort of 30 odd, I thought, fuck it.
Come on, Ian. I know you did a little, you gave him a little dab, didn't you? A little duggy.
I'm not slagging Niantic off, but I'm not going to do all that work and then get nothing back in return.
How much data did you say you used?
I used nearly 2 gig of data.
Oh my
Should
God.
be on gift gas, mate. Ken, I can't lie, mate. I'm dying to know your whole thoughts about how this works. How sometimes in a week event, you get the shiny in the first 10 checks, but others you can do 2,000-3,000 checks and get F. Oh, I'm not going to swear because I've already sweared loads tonight.
So I'm okay with it. It's something that you have to buy into when you pick up this type of game. You have to get past that. Otherwise, it's going to be that thorn in your side every single day you play the game. And it's either you're going to be okay with, it's like putting the tax down on the seat you're about to sit on. Like, oh, this is probably going to hurt my ass. It hurt my ass. Why? It's like, you should know why. I look way past it because I know how the game operates. You trust the system. Yeah, this isn't going to be a loaded RNG where it's like, the odds are stacked against me. No, it is a fair system, but it does suck. I remember when Party Hat Gengar was in raids for that raid week, raid day or something like that. My first 7 raids, I got shinies. The first 7.
Seven
in a row.
In a fucking row. It was insane. Like the people, I was with a huge, raid train walking, and they were like, fuck you. Like they were so upset. And it was just like, I don't know. Should I not do the next raid? And it was like shiny again. What the hell?
Because you're feeling bad about getting the shinies.
It's just how it goes. So I hear people's frustrations, and I definitely feel their pain because I get it. It could suck in something like your case. It's like fucking 150, opportunities, and you leave with nothing.
But I kept going right up until 8 p.m. I kept going.
It's a feels bad man situation. Like I totally get it. But going into it, I've prepared myself and toughened my skin to that point of saying, I'm never going to be upset about the odds. I've had community days where I've played the whole time and left with, just a handful of shinies. I've had community days where I've left with fucking 50 shinies. So it's like, it is what it is. And going into it with that kind of, passe attitude about it helps me enjoy the game a lot better. And I think that if more people adopted, the ebb and flow of how RNG actually works, they would probably enjoy the game more, or at least, be less of a mouthpiece on Twitter.
About it. That's one thing I would never do. Yeah, I would never.
Milo, I feel like you need to insert the sound effect that it is what it is. and Marky boy, what about you, my brother?
I'm a bit like you, Ken. I've made peace with it. I do vent a bit with it, but that's just part of the game. It's part of the pantomime. It's part of getting people to sort of engage on Twitter. I love it. I used to play the game a lot more. I will openly admit that I don't play it as much as I used to. That's just the way it is. Life is life, isn't it? Got far more important things in life, going on. It's a game at the end of the day. I understand why people get egged a bit with it, but then every game's based on RNG. Every game you play, it doesn't matter what it is. There is an RNG element to everything, and I think what triggers people is you have to work for it in Pokemon Go, all these mobile games, certain ones, because like you said, you have to say, well, I'm going to probably put 6 hours of my day into this to have a go. I mean, like they feel like, well, I've done that, I should have got it. But like if you're at home playing certain games, you can do a lot more checks, a lot more resets, as people sometimes do on the other Pokemon games. Without leaving their house, they can do that amount of checks in a very short period of time, so they actually don't feel like it's taking too much of their time up. And like you said, I get triggered joking when I see on Twitter someone's gone, oh my God, is there an event on? I've just clicked my first one, and it's shiny, and you look at it and go, oh, do that. Call some shit. But JT Valor, when we had him on, his Entei raid day, he was getting shinies every other one. The RNG was in his favor. But I haven't had it in my favour quite like that ever.
And that's the thing, isn't it? We say shiny look, but it's all RNG, isn't it? It really is.
Even on com days, I'd love to have that look, Ken.
I mean, it's like one of those things, isn't it? Because it's, Ken, I couldn't agree. I'm licking you again, but I couldn't agree any more than what you said, mate. I sound like a bloody parrot. If you don't know how the game works, it's your own fault and nobody else's. I'm going to get that tattooed on my forehead. But do you know what? Do you know what I do wish, the whole RNG thing, and I do think it will make the game a lot better. And I wouldn't care if, Niantic put a label on it that you got the shiny in 50 checks, or I think it's for a wild spawn, I think 450.
1 in 450,
yeah. So it could be 450, it could be 6,085. I don't personally care what number they set. It could be so high, and that wouldn't bother me at all. But what would be really cool is that on those clicks from 1 to, let's just say, 1,000, that you do actually get one. And I think that would be a really cool thing. Not with every event, not with every spawn, but a bit like what Ian's saying about this Galarian Ponyta. What would have been really cool if they'd said, let's say 250, right? So whether you get your shiny Galarian Ponyta on the first one or on check 249, you will get a shiny. And I feel like in events like this, when they are only certain and people say they locked behind a wall, I don't know, that might be a nice touch. But I also agree with what one of the patrons just said. If you do the grind, you get the sparkles. And if you're really fucking lucky, you get it on the second check. It is what it is. But yeah, but I think for me, that'll be with thingies like the Smeargle, if they say you get, what you're going to get a shiny if you in 250, whether you're lucky at the start or lucky at the end, you do get one. But then I also understand that at the end of that event, every single player, if they grinded, could get one. So it kind of makes it. So I get it. RNG is a weird topic, right? It's a really weird topic because if you make it too easy, it's boring. If you make it too hard, people complain and become keyboard warriors on Twitter. So you can't. So, if, at the end of the day, if you look at it and what we've been speaking about, have Niantic got it pretty bang on? I would say, yeah, maybe they do. Maybe they do.
You know what, Coops? I agree but in some ways, I don't think that they should set a cap where you would get a shiny at a set number of checks. We all have good luck. We'll have shit luck.
Yes, yeah. Sorry, that was just an idea I pulled out my arse. Yeah.
But the RNG is going nowhere. The RNG is not going to change. It does work. Yes, I went into it knowing that I may or may not get one.
Yeah.
It was the same with the Smeargle. I didn't get one from the Smeargle either. But then, like Mark pointed out the other week, I got 2 shiny Castform in the space of a day. You've got to take the good with the bad.
Totally.
Would you feel better if they openly published and fully disclosed the odds? So not saying like, all right, you'll get one guaranteed within 250, but if they say, all right, this is in fact a 1 in 450 chance. It might take you a fucking 10,000 to get it, but at least you know the odds. Would that transparency, do you think that transparency would help trainers kind of come to terms is probably the best way, like come into peace, with the process of what RNG is? Because I hear that all the time. It's like, I just want to know the odds. I just want, we started to see the transparency with eggs, and that made a lot of trainers feel a little bit better knowing, all right, there's a higher chance of me, hatching a Hoppip.
Yeah, but did it? Like,
because we don't know a number.
Yeah, but does anybody look at that egg chart and go, oh, I'm going to hatch a Dino? Like, it's never like, it's just, you get the same old shit every single time. So eggs, sorry, Ken, I'm not shouting at you, but I just think trainers that are like, oh, I'd really want to know, like you just said, bro, it was all looking great. You said if it was 1 in 450, and then you said afterwards, but it could take you 10,000. So at the end of the day, what fucking difference does it make?
I agree. No, I do.
Yeah.
I totally agree, but I think that at least seeing that transparency will help push some of the liability away from the RNG itself, and put some of that accountability on the trainer to say, okay, maybe I shouldn't be mad at this because my first check and my 450th check have the exact same odds.
Absolutely,
catching this.
And
I think it's just, again, it's coming to terms of understanding the property of what RNG is all about. And a lot of times it feels like shit, but when you come to terms with it, it's like, all right, well, I'm just going to move on and enjoy myself regardless of the outcome, because the process of doing it will be the same. There's plenty of times where I see like, oh, they're raiding a shiny Pokemon. They get the shiny. They're like, all right, I'm out. I'm not raiding anymore. But it's like, I don't really know anyone who's going to play a community day and be like, I got my 3. I'm done. I'm calling it quits. They're going to play, so it's definitely an awesome conversation. It's one that, we've been having for fucking years now with this game, just because it's just such a big thing.
Some people don't understand it. Like you said, Can you actually really simplified it there? Some people think a 1 in 450 chance means that I'm going to get 1 in 450. And they doesn't. There are some people that think that. And I think, like you said, actually, every time you click on one, it's a 1 in 450 chance. Just simplifying it like that would probably take away some of the frustration. But you're right. There was some Pokemon that have had shinies out very early, and I think we can all resonate with it. We've done 2,000 checks plus and still not seen the shiny. We kind of make peace with that. I have, but I'm a bit like Ian. It does get a tad more frustrating when they crank it into a small time frame.
I think that's it, isn't it? It's when it's time locked, or if it's a
event locked. Yeah.
Well, I think that's the feeling of FOMO that's overcoming you more so
Absolutely.
than the being bothered by RNG. It's the FOMO. And
because they're going to put it out.
That plagues this game. That plagues this game.
It's the same. This is what I'm saying. I know I joked at the start about it's like a casino. It's the same thing. You lose a tenner, you go, okay, let me put a bit more money on. I'm going to get my tenner back. It's the exact same thing, isn't it? It's the exact same thing. Like I said, there could be 10 events. You could get 5 shinies from out of the 10 events, and that's what they want. Like Milo, like Milo's already got 100, but he's got another one. He's got 2 now, but he wants another one. It's that like
Milo wants 6, doesn't he? He wants 6 of everything.
But this is my point. It's that continuous like, give me more. It's that casino. It's that gambling feel. And Paul, one of our Patreon members, you've got a valid point. So unmute yourself, buddy, and join the conversation.
Hi guys, thanks for having me on, Coops. Yeah, this is something I've discussed with a lot of.
Okay, that's enough.
Let me find that unsubscribe button. Where's delete Patreon? Ignore somebody mute Coops for me. So yeah, I'll discuss this a lot over the years with folks, and I think honestly that given the fact that you're out there walking around, and this isn't a game you sit at home and you just click. This is something you actually have to go out and do. I really think that they should factor a number of tries into the thing. And I'm a computer programmer. I think about algorithms. I'm like, what I would do is if there's a 1 in 450 chance of catching a shiny, then every time you get closer to your 450th without it, or maybe your 900th, there's something that you're going to get more and more of a chance. Because I've heard of these days. I remember load tat days years ago. I had a perfectly fine day. It was great. I came home with 5 or 6 or something. I had friends who were out for like 12 hours or whatever it is and didn't net a single shiny low tat, which is brutal. So anyways.
No worries, Paul. Thank you for expressing how you feel about it. But again, just to wrap this up.
I'm sorry, excuse me, enough, Coops?
Nice one, Paul.
You're the host. Excuse me.
Brilliant.
Sorry.
No. Credit where credit's due. That was brilliant. But but Ken, going back to what you said, just to wrap it up, mate. If you don't mind, mate.
No, go for it, dude.
It's FOMO, and they've got you. They're grabbing your bollocks, and they're going, yeah, we'll give you this event, but this one that you really want. Nah, not this time, motherfuckers, not this time. And they do an amazing job of it. So anyway, gents, good chat.
Do you mind if I just jump in with one small point, which
if you will
take from this little experience of mine, which we've all got shinies that have eluded us for however many thousands of bloody checks. When you finally get it, it's one of the most rewarding feelings you will ever have in this game. And I got that with Shiny Houndour, and it eluded me for 3+ years. And no matter what event, I couldn't get it. And eventually I just freaking got it out of the blue. And it was so good. So there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Do enough checks, you will eventually get the shiny. It's just the journey to get there can be bloody convoluted.
And let's face it, they're boosted at GoFest, so they're going to...
Yeah, true. There'll be boosted GoFest spawns, won't there? So...
Okay,
that's an interesting point. Sorry to cut in there, Ian. If they didn't increase the odds of shinies at events, you wouldn't have an event, would you? People go for that shiny look, don't they? They love that idea of the.
I think that's the allure.
It is nice when you go to a
incentive.
GoFest, isn't it? And you come away like 50 shinies.
They've got to make it feel special, haven't they? Particularly for a GoFest. Come on, like.
No, you're right, but I'm just saying, we're just sort of adding to that why people play the game. Yeah. There is that.
It's like going to a drug dealer. It's like first one's free, man. It's like
exactly.
Come on,
yeah.
come to the event, and you have all this shiny luck. You get all these hits of dopamine. You're feeling good. Serotonin's flowing, and it's like, but then you leave, and it's like, oh, this is what it's sobering.
Well, that's why you see people who come back to the game after many months away. Suddenly, I got this shiny on the first check, and I've got so many shinies. I've got a hundo legendary or new players get all of the luck, and it's tonight.
And you know what? I know we need to wrap this up because we are running really long. But have you noticed that when people put the game down and they come back like 6 months, a year, 2 years later, they get fucking hundreds of shinies?
Mate, honestly, a mate of mine put his account down, and my friend and I, we pick it up and play it for him occasionally, and he has more shundos than any fucker I know. It's ridiculous. Every com day, shundo marrow on research day. It's ridiculous. So if you pick up the game after many months away, it rewards you for it. For a brief period of time.
Coops, did that work for you over the last 3 months?
Leave me alone.
Anyway, on that note, we're going to go over to Ken for the news.
Awesome. We got some news this week, y'all. This has actually been a pretty awesome month. I don't know how everyone's feeling about the Luminous Legends X event. It was phenomenal. And now that we're in Y, we do have some good stuff going on. And actually, as of right now, they just tweeted out that we hit the 25 million Team Go Rocket grunts. So that's completed. So we did unlock the rewards, and I think that's really what this is all about, especially with people that are on the journey to level 50, because the flow of the game has definitely been powered by XP lately. As of about, I don't know how long it's been, an hour or so since they published that tweet, that we did in fact unlock the 3x catch XP, Shiny Galarian Zigzagoon. We have Galarian Zigzagoon in 1-star raids. That's all starting on the 25th. So that'll run from the 25th through the end of the month, the 31st. That's part 2 of the Luminous Legends. So when it shifts over to Fairy with Sylveon and all that, we're going to have that triple catch XP. So I think that for a lot of people, the XP alone is a motivator to get them to play. And we just recorded Lured Up last night, and I was talking with Adam, and I said, well, is this enough? Is the triple XP and Shiny Galarian Zigzagoon enough to carry that positive momentum of Luminous Legends X that's already been on the decline because Y wasn't as strong? So I'd like to hear everyone's take on if they think this news of unlocking these rewards is going to be enough to carry the momentum through the end of the month.
I've got to say, it was interesting when we did the show last week, because I'm not on much of an XP grind. I've got all the XP. I'm level 50. But people who are on the grind, when there's 3x catch XP as a reward, I think it was Mark and Ian were like, I'm going to grind Swablu Comday. And Swablu Comday was complete bollocks. But people grinded it for XP because it was an extra bonus. XP there'll be people who grind for XP despite being the top tier level. They'll always go for it. So I think it's pretty solid. And Shiny Galarian Zigzagoon, it's sick, such a sought after shiny, brand new as well.
Obstagoon looks so good.
It does look so good. I think that might be just enough of incentive. Plus, they're bringing in Sylveon and different spawns and things, so it's a bit more of a shake up. I do think that we can't encapsulate. Luminous Legends X was one of the best events we've ever had in the game.
Agreed.
Genuinely one of the best, if not the best. I think the spawns were beautiful and everything. It was really good raids, eggs,
it kicked ass, didn't it?
Absolutely. So good.
Tell them, Billy. Tell them.
Yes, thank you. It was a better event than Dragon Week. Like that's the comparable, I would think.
Well, this week slowed down, but do you think it really needed to? Because we had 2 really sort of crazy weeks. I'm not really too bothered that it's a slightly slower week because, like Ken said, next week it's going to kick off again with the triple XP.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm doing a little bit of Rocket Grunts.
But if you're not into Team Go Rocket, this week is a little bit of a drag because this week is so focused on Team Go Rocket that if you ignore that mechanic and you're not really into that, it's like, what are you going to do? You know, it doesn't have the strength.
On my way to work and walking home again, I have my game on all the time, mate. For the last 2 days since this event started, I've not even had the game on. And for me, that's a rarity. And that shows how fucking diabolical the spawns are. And I love catching Pokemon. That's why I play. Like, I love catching these stupid little things. And the spawn, like and I'll be honest, when the Spotlight Hour, Alolan Rattata was announced, I did not realize that was going to be an actual fucking main spawn. It's a main spawn. I was like, what? Yeah. It's like I was like, so yeah, it's a big fat no from me. And actually, Adam from Lured Up, I put out a tweet and he was like arguing with me. He was like, no, Coops, I really like this event. So if you're listening, mate, I hate it.
He's like, it's got a mustache. How could you not like a Pokemon with a mustache?
Ken, sorry to jump in there, but, I've just looked at it on Twitter as well, and some people have mentioned it on the chat. But, yeah, why are we waiting a week for this now? If we've done this grunt challenge, why are we waiting 5 days to get the triple XP and the Shiny Zigzagoon? It just feels weird.
It's the same format, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
they did the same with
it's the exact same.
Well, I guess the question still stood for last event is that why make us wait if we unlock it so quick?
Well, why announce it so quick that we've done it?
The preset, right? The preset window actually goes to the 23rd. So that's why they're not, it was always set in stone that if we did unlock it, whether on day 1 or day 6, it wasn't going to kick in until the 25th. Yeah. And I think that was a little bit of a lesson learned from previous global challenges where they would say, all right, to the end of the event, you're going to have, double Stardust. Or
don't get
like
started
that.
on that raid thing.
And then
we all saw how that went.
Yeah. So, right. You know what I mean? So I don't mind the fact that there's a window, I know that it's defined. I like that. But yeah, when you do get to that number earlier than later, you're like, fuck, now we got to wait, But
I guess that's actually a fair point, is they outlined a specific window and said the challenge is between this time and this time. So
exactly. So you also know how long your bonus is as well. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's bad.
Yeah, we're not going to get just 24 hours.
I like it. I like this format much better than, till the end of the event, it's a race. And then, the FOMO sets in, the panic sets in, the anxiety sets in. I like anxiety in games. I want the game to give me a certain level of anxiety, but not like that.
You know what I mean? A little bit of jeopardy.
It's an acceptable level. Right. Just give me a little bit of edging, and I'm all right.
And I think we've got one more bit of news, have we, Ken?
The land shark.
So, I think it's probably a week and a half ago already, they had announced with that very basic tweet, June 6th, Gibbel, that's the tweet, that's it. I love when things can divide this community for better or for worse. I just think it's exciting and gets, brings up things that we could talk about. So I love that, but we now have all the details on Gibbel Community Day as of today. So it's pretty exciting. As we know, this is going to be Sunday, June 6th, 2021 from 11 to 5 local time. Gibbel will be more frequently in the wild. If you're lucky, you might encounter a shiny one. Evolving Gabite up to Garchomp will give you Earth Power. So this was, I know, a move that a lot of people were wanting. It's a phenomenal move. Garchomp is going to kick fucking ass. Mega Garchomp is going to be really awesome. I cannot wait. Snapshot surprises, as of course, there's going to be the one-time purchase Community Day box in the shop, 1,280 coins as usual, 50 Ultra Balls, 5 Incense, 5 Lucky Eggs, and an Elite Charge TM. I do like when they put a little bit more of a blend of items in the Com Day box. I've never bought one. Mm-hmm. Never bought a Com Day box once.
Hello,
no,
hi. You know me. Yeah.
I'm like sitting on a bunch of like Elite TMs, like still sitting in my freaking inventory just from getting them for free, So I'm definitely not going to buy them. But and then there's the $1, or equivalent in your local currency, the Gibbel Community Day exclusive special research story, Just a Nibble, which is phenomenal. We've been joking in my community for so long.
That's also one of your OnlyFans scenes, isn't it?
Stop it.
It's just a nibble. So Adrock is a member of our community. He had come up with the name Nibble for Gibbel. Nibble for Gibbel. So like I pushed that out to Niantic like weeks ago. I was like, yo, this has got to be the name of Gibbel Community Day. It's got to be Nibble for a Gibbel. And then it came back just a nibble. So I'm very satisfied with that.
God, look at all you lot creating the bloody what the fuck do they do there? Look at you creating the name. What do they actually do there? We're doing the AR mapping. Fucking hell, you're creating names. What do they actually do apart from give us lag in GBL?
We got Gibbel by harassing them for 13 months.
Lag is free.
Niantic are busy just typing Twitter replies.
Yes. But then the bonuses for the event are going to be triple catch XP, again pushing that more and more and more. I'd imagine that the data that they're collecting with player activity when they're doing these triple XP days is high. So why would they not continue to give this to us if it's feeding the machine? So I definitely am behind that. I'm past 176 million XP, but I'm still on that grind. I still love the XP grind. So, I've got nothing slowing me down in sight. And then we have Incense activated during the event will be 3 hours. So cannot wait for 3 hour lures to come back.
Yeah,
but I'll take the 3 hour Incense.
I want them back, bro.
For sure. So you guys, how do you feel about Gibbel? I know you've probably aired this out on previous episodes.
Hyped as fuck.
We did. I think we're all in.
Hyped.
We're all unanimous. Yeah, we're pumped. Yeah.
Nice.
I can't wait. Earth Power. It's PvE. It's a raid. Well, I know it's a PvP move as well. It's a raid move as well. Oh my god, it's just been so long since we had one of those for Com Day. Yeah. I can't wait. It's going to be so good.
Oh, and they did announce kind of actually through the influencer group, they made the announcement that Mega Garchomp will not be released on Community Day.
Oh, is that a scoop? That's a scoop.
Yes. So that's a scoop. So not like Mega Altaria, how it was released 5 p.m. after Swablu. Mega Garchomp will not be released on Community Day. Of course, it's coming, but
no, they're going to release that in 2029. But what was I going to say? Something more interesting. Talk to me about the influencer group. Talk to me about that.
No, well, there's a group of it's probably 20 or 30 international influencers that work pretty closely with Niantic.
Can you tell the training club that Milo loves him?
On, please.
But no, so I get the scoops, and it helps prep content and make timely content and amplify Niantic's voice when an announcement is made. We get this nice uniform and generalized push from many in the creative space to all happen at once, and it makes for a nice push of news and communication. It's cool.
And we're not breaking any NDAs by publishing this.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's all good. It's like, I am under NDA with Niantic, but I can talk about it all I want. I mean, I could still, say bad words and talk about, data mines and all that shit. And, they provide a lot of flexibility and let their influencers remain individuals and have their own voice. So it's a phenomenal group to be a part of. I love it.
Talking about Niantic, some say Niantic interns are cloned and considered defective if they give personalized Twitter replies. Milo, it's over to you for Ask the Intern.
Ask the intern.
Yay.
You never get to do this, do you?
I've done it like nearly
3 weeks
back-to-back shows now. I love it. Oh my goodness me. We love trawling through Niantic's Twitter support accounts, and some of the replies and also some of the tweets that they get sent as well are beyond belief. So I've got 3 here for you, and a little bit of a dry week. There's been a recent issue with Pokemon trainer accounts not being able to log in. So basically their replies were just all wash with that when I looked. I was like, okay, right, I need to find something that's a bit more interesting. First one up. At Niantic Help, why is it not updating? I caught 55 unknowns, yet it only shows 5. And they're showing the 5 unknown for the medal and then 55 seen in the Pokédex. But obviously on the Pokédex, it shows you've seen 5 individual unknowns.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And then Niantic supporter replied, "Will clarify, trainer. To count towards progress on the unknown medal, you will need to catch a unique unknown. As evident from the screenshot, you have caught 5 unique unknown, which is equal to the medal you have shown. I hope this clarifies."
Now shut the fuck up.
I feel so sorry for Niantic sometimes.
you. Oh.
This second one is kind of short and sweet, and if you're feeling like a keyboard warrior, this is probably what you'd write. At Niantic Labs, at Niantic Help. Fix your game, Jesus. I'm about to quit playing all of your games.
Yours faithfully, Casual Coops.
I feel like this is really the only reply they could have sent. Sorry to hear about your experience. Please elaborate on the issue you're experiencing, and we'll look into it to try and help you. Yeah, I feel that's kind of logical as a response, doesn't it? Yeah. And the final one for this week. At Niantic Help, I've been complaining about this for weeks. I cannot start the game without being connected to Wi-Fi. I don't want a chaperone every time I go outside. I assume they mean they're talking about personal hotspot. Now, Niantic supporter replied, "Sorry to hear that, trainer.
They're not.
Please ensure your device is connected to stable internet. You may refer to this article for more insights," and they give them a link. "I sent you a DM with more info. Please do take a look at it and let us know if you need any more help."
Right, Ken, please, can you confirm for us right here, right now? Are those replies a bot, or are they real human beings tapping on their phone?
Yes.
So I don't know if they're all humans, but there's definitely humans.
Okay.
There's that. I don't know if they're 100% because some of them are like really fucking,
Yeah.
Sorry for your trouble. Beep, beep, beep. Like they're all it's super robotic. But, I definitely know there are humans there because I've seen some like good ones where you're like, that's that fucking person's last day of work. Like you can tell, they like reply with something very inappropriate.
Yeah, we've said it before. It's like on the last line, they add in like a dig and we're like, someone's written that.
Oh, good stuff, Milo. So yeah, we're nearing the end. Mark, over to you for Shinies of the Week.
Shinies of the week.
Well, something else that is nearing before we jump into the good stuff are the results of the poll that I put on Twitter.
Yay.
Oh, you did one after a week off.
we had a week off, so the poll is ending, and we've had some traffic. So the question I asked via the Incensed podcast Twitter account was, should we have to wait 5 days for the bonuses? Now we've unlocked them.
God.
And the 2 answers was, well, yeah, they stated it, so that's pretty fair,
Yeah.
or no, give it me now. We had 16 votes on the poll in the last 10 minutes, which is the most we've had. 31% have said, yeah, they've stated it. And 69% have said, no, give me it now.
Nice.
Sod it.
69%.
Why should we wait? So
Nice.
I think
It's human nature, isn't it? They want it now. They don't want to wait. Yeah.
2/3 of people want it now. Well, there we go. So, shinies of the week. We've got loads on here, and I'm going to fly through them now. So, James A. Vivian tweeted and said, picked up this beast. I was listening to Incensed podcast on the way back to work this morning, and they got themselves a shiny coughing, which was a 0-star one. So, fair play there. So, HermesNinja is going to get a mention on this one. Good gracious, Incensed podcast was just going for my Pokemon inventory and deleting everything I'd caught during the taping of today's episode. Didn't even realise I caught this. Yep, 100% bag on.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Very nice.
I'm not jealous.
I'm not at all. Very. Obsidian586 has tweeted us. Forgot to post this for Swablu Community Day. I will cherish this forever. A shiny 0% 000 IV. Is that a Nundo? What do they call
Snundo.
it? Snundo?
Snundo. Nice.
Where do these names come from?
That's amazing.
Mashup.
Tingley02 or Ting has said at Incense Podcast, just as Pogo Mile UK has asked how the Luminous Legends event was going, managed to incense this blue shiny. Pulled through once again. So shiny Ralts.
Yeah. Lovely stuff.
Nice.
Freesha.
I'm still having flashbacks over Ralts Community, Mark.
Oh, of course. I think we all are, mate.
Drone crash day for you, wasn't it?
Drone crash day, yes.
Yeah. I like to think it's still sat there, just going.
I think it is.
Freesha has tweeted us, Incense podcast, just caught this little cutie off an Incense whilst listening to you chaps, a shiny Jigglypuff. Brett Small has also tweeted us, said, at Incense podcast, love your pod. Finally got a shiny whilst listening to Shinies of the Week. Awesome. At Coops the Casual, bye-bye shiny, shiny Abra.
My guy transferring him, my guy.
And there's two contenders for absolute winners here, and I'm going to give them both equal attention because they do deserve it for this. Paul Thompson, woohoo, first shiny in the Houndoom family, and first shiny while listening to the recording of Incense podcast. That's a fresh one just now. Gabriella listened to Incense podcast whilst taking a walk, got a shiny Rattata, and after the podcast ended, the rest of the shiny gang followed, all within a few hours. This is when RNG goes in your favour. Shiny Rattata, shiny Bunnelby, shiny Glameow, shiny Rattata, hello and again, and shiny Poochyena.
Oh my God.
All in an hour.
Wow.
That is insane.
Heck. Jesus Christ.
All with the blue backgrounds
Well
on,
done.
all very, very age 0 and right there. And then we got another one from Professor Willer, because this is probably equally awesome. Hi there, everyone. I found you through Casual Coops, then started watching Milo due to his recommendation, and then all of you after I started watching Incense podcast. I finally caught my Mew last Sunday. I was catching up on your latest podcast episodes. It wasn't just a shiny Mew, it was a Shundo.
What?
Oh my God.
When they sent me that on Twitter, I was like, on Instagram, sorry, I was like, oh my God. I was like, that is nuts. Listening to us, they got a Shundo Mew. Like, that's mental.
What'd you say, Coops? GG's.
GG's.
I'm going to hold back on what I normally say when you say that.
That's awesome.
Oh, great stuff, Mark. Great
A lot of stuff there.
So we've got quite a busy audience and gallery here. Anyone bag a shiny today? We know Paul did. We know Sue did. Anyone else?
No.
Yes. Just now.
Did you actually? Oh my
Just
God.
Oh
now.
my God, Milo, it's on the screen.
It's actually on the screen. Just as
You were saving that. It's been there all night,
literally.
hasn't it?
If you watch the recording back, you'll see my reaction go ape shit.
Yeah.
Just as Mark had finished doing Shinies of the Week. That is shiny Houndour.
That's your first shiny during a recording,
Yes.
isn't it, Milo?
Oh my God, and it's one I love. Houndour.
Well done,
That is
mate.
absolutely amazing.
Hashtag blessed. Hashtag Incense podcast.
We promise you're going to get one when you listen back, mate.
Yeah, you'll get one.
Yeah. I'm trying. I'm into incense number 2 right now.
Yes.
Same, yeah.
So, Ken, do you want to take a few minutes and for anyone out there that doesn't know your products, give a little plug for your socials?
I would love to. Yes, you could find me at onlyfans.com/films.
I was like, wait a minute.
No, yeah. If you want to check out the network, it's PokemonProfessor.com. You get links to all of our shows there. We have 3 different shows: Gotta Watch Them All, which is an anime and general Pokemon podcast; Lured Up, which is the Pokemon Go podcast; and Special Conditions, which is TCG podcast. So definitely check that out. We're super active on Twitter, Instagram, all the socials, TikTok, all that good shit. But just check out PokemonProfessor.com for links to everywhere. We would definitely appreciate it. And, check out our website, check out our merch, check out our Patreon, all that good shit. And I just love meeting people from new communities. I really like working with international creators. So thank you guys so much for having me on. This was a ton of fun. And I really look forward to meeting some of the people from your community, and definitely looking forward to these live events where we could all kind of hang out and, have a drink and talk some shit in person. I'm definitely looking forward to that. But thank you guys so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here, brother. Thanks for spending the last almost 2.5 hours with us. This has run long tonight. This has gone long.
Who's editing this week?
Sorry, I'm the poor sod who's doing it.
Milo's editing.
Good luck.
So please don't forget, you can share your stories with us on Twitter. You can see a potential post that Coops might put up on Instagram. And please follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Don't forget, we really do truly value each and every one of you, and just listening to us is support enough. But if you do want to take your support to another level, we do have a Patreon. Tiers starting at £1.50, and that will give you Discord access. And on that bombshell, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.